I said, hey, yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy Maharos, and we're back with another video. Today, we're going to be talking about the market. Everything is going absolutely crazy, and it's nice to see, but at the same time, it's very important we check our emotions as everything is going euphoric. And we'll start off with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is literally at a resistance. This is the 3-week supply zone, which is why it stops here so perfectly. I do not expect this to break on the first try. I expect some sort of retracement like we saw over here at around 48,000. The same way I plotted the 6-month supply back over here in, like January, basically. I had this drawn out. It's probably now become a support. So it's going to be a demand zone. If price ever does come back to it, there's going to be some sort of bounce off of this level. But right now, we're underneath the last level of resistance, which is just the 3-week supply zone. So, we're probably going to maybe fake down and go back up again should we go to new all-time highs. I do expect this to pull back and then maybe, consolidate before making a new high if we are to make a new high. But again, if we do get the opportunity to come back down to 52.9, that is a very good level of support. It's the 1-week demand zone, so this is very bullish. And again, Bitcoin, nothing too crazy except that it is going absolutely parabolic. I mean, literally, this is starting to look like a 3 and a 4 and a 5 because of the structure. And at the same time, I was under the impression that this may be a big ABC, right? And again, it does look very, very impulsive, but there's a lot of things wrong with the proportion in terms of time to try to make this a big ABC. So I'm not going to get too complicated into Bitcoin itself, except that this is just the main levels that you need to watch out for. Also, Ethereum now hitting 3,500, something we'll be talking about week over week. This is the level you got to watch. This is the level that is probably the most important because we're probably not going to break it on the first try, the same way that I expected to do, for Bitcoin, essentially, right? Like, we get to resistance, we're probably going to pull back down and then start going back up again, the same way that we're right here at this level. That's probably going to act as a resistance. So we'll see what happens. Again, Ethereum is very bullish. We were talking about it way back all the way at 1,700. Even though, again, lots of people were worried all over Twitter. It's been shared. I've shared many, many tweets on X. So you can go check that out, link in the bio, if you're interested. And then looking at stablecoin dominance, this is probably like the most bullish thing in my opinion, is that we're continuing to break down, which is a very good sign that the market is going to keep running. Now, again, there will be a point where it flips, right? And the money will rotate back into stables and people take profits. Because, again, seasons exist, markets exist, cycles exist because there's a rotation that's always taking place and people are eventually going to rotate into stables. And as of right now, I mean, it's possible this flips up here and then maybe continues going sideways before maybe reclaiming or breaking down, right? So there's like a lot of possibilities. And the reason why I say that, we got to be ready for some type of correction is because when we look at total, I definitely see that we're going to probably get to 2.57 trillion, and that's probably going to be the level of resistance that we finally get up to. But at the same time, we look at altcoins on total 2, we're currently at resistance, right? So literally at any moment now, we're probably going to get some sort of rejection. And total 3 is also working its way up to 718 billion, which is going to be also some sort of rejection. So we'll see what happens. I do believe this level is going to be very, very difficult to break above. And again, it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out because, again, there's going to be a correction that takes place and resistances, like I've just shown you, do not break on the first try, which is, again, why I believe this level, which is, I believe, the 1-month supply or 2-month. Looks like it's the 2-month, yeah. This is 2 monthly back-to-back candles in between this order block, but it doesn't appear, but it is definitely a resistance level they got to watch out for, which is why I believe around 674 and 795 on total 3 we're going to get some sort of rejection, the same way how I believe this may work its way up to 1.17 or 1.18 trillion, that we're going to get some sort of rejection, and that would kind of all work in line with total, because again, total is basically every single coin combined. Total 2 is everything excluding Bitcoin, and total 3 is everything excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. So it's going to be very important, again, just to see how this progresses. But I do believe a correction is definitely coming up very, very soon. So it's just very, very important that you look at, any positions you have open. If something has been running for a very long time, maybe consider taking some profits. But again, all of our strategies are slightly different. Can you stomach a correction? Can you not? it just depends on who you ask and what exactly is happening. But again, this is something I'm considering, and my positions are going to be cut accordingly based off of their, their run, right? So that's also very nice to see. But again, make sure you guys are watching out for flashing red signs. Not saying this can't go much higher, but like, because I'm a trader and I look at this stuff every single week, I just like to see what's about to happen, because there's always some type of narrative about why the price fell. But in reality, we're running into a resistance, right? So that's that. Also, taking a look at XRP. This is very interesting because we're basically, looking at this triangle. And again, this triangle can be drawn so many ways, but if you just take a trend line from the top to bottom here, I mean, are we going to break above this? I don't know. But no matter what happens here after consolidating for 2,240 plus days, we're probably going to have to break in either direction. So we'll see what happens. The good thing is that we're trading above this green level, which is the main level of support or resistance. So we'll see exactly what happens. RSI is pointing up, which is very good. So my idea would be that it breaks up. But again, I don't want to get overly confident, but I am pretty confident on the chart because it is a pressure cooker ready to go up, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens. This is going to be very fun to watch. But again, this can turn into a wick. So I would love to see a close above 94 cents to confirm my bias, right? So 94 cents and then some type of sideways consolidation before going up again, and sideways consolidation and then going up again. Because usually for XRP, what we've seen is anytime there's a run, there's a big wick and then another wick following it that just takes it lower, right? We've seen that every single time. There's a back-to-back wick right here when price goes up to, 94 cents, when, Ripple wins its XRP ruling. And then another wick follows it over here, and then it falls, and then again it goes sideways, runs up again over here in November, has a wick, followed by another wick, but then it falls. And again, right now, does it turn to a wick? What exactly is going to happen? I don't know, except that what we need to see is more so of a sideways consolidation should the price start get going, right? Because, again, a wick usually will probably lead to another sell-off following it. So I'd like to see something running up to maybe $1.08 and then running up again, running to $2, and then starting to make all-time highs and then continue to go sideways. So we'll see what happens. The main thing for me is just sideways corrections instead of, again, wicking and then falling back down. So just something to watch out for. One of the things that I am excited for, again, XRP has been suppressed for literally about 5 years now, and it has not made a new low, nor has it made a new high. But what it has been doing is just staying in a range, staying at a level, and not really making any crazy moves, since its original high back in 2017. Instead, what it's actually been doing is shrinking in volatility, right? So if we were to take a box and compare every single high for every single run, and even if we were to take this one, that wouldn't really be as clean. You can see that this triangle every single time is just getting smaller and smaller. And essentially, it's not really practical for this triangle to continue, right? Because something has to give here, right? Whether it's a breakout to the upside or a breakout to the downside, we're going to get our final answer. And that's probably going to be the most exciting part. And that's that. And one thing I want to talk about as well is going to be other things such as FX currencies. DXY is breaking down. And I said this last week, and I'll say it again. I want to see a new low taken out here, right? Because a new low means that, again, crypto for the most part will continue to have more breathing room, more space to run. At the same time, we're probably going to see, if we break to the highs here, crypto probably falling and the rest of the equities markets falling. Because again, the correlation is if, again, DXY is rising, equities and risk-on assets are pretty much falling. Like we've seen here back in 2022, crypto has pretty much taken a brutal beating. And in the same way as it fell, DXY, crypto has kind of made its way back up, and so on and so forth. So again, I'm rooting for this to continue going down. I do believe it continues to go down. It probably retests 101 in my opinion. That wouldn't really be surprising if we saw this level. But the real question is, do we take out the low down here? That is the major question, because again, that means more room for us to run. Another thing to consider is going to be our S&P. Again, the longer this runs up, the better it is, because it gives more time for our Ponzi's to run. So I'm rooting for the S&P, I'm rooting for the Dow, and I'm rooting for the NASDAQ 100 to keep going higher, which they all have been. So again, we'll see what happens. I am a little worried that this is going to break down simply because there will be some sort of correction somewhere down the line, I would hope, at this previous all-time high level. So we'll see what happens. I mean, technically for the NASDAQ, it looks like it did happen. But again, you know, the S&P and the DJI, I don't think got a clear correction. And again, we're just going to have to be patient and see how this one plays out. Another thing I want to take a look at is gold. And I've actually didn't even remove my drawings from last week. But basically what I said was, this looks like it wants to gear up. This week we saw that gold had its highest close ever recorded in history, which is cool. I'm happy for all the gold bugs, but what does this mean for our crypto bags, right? And what it really means is that anytime gold is getting ready to go up, that usually indicates that, you know, equities and risk on assets are probably going to fall again. So it's very, very important to watch out for this because, again, you know, you can compare all the times that gold fell and rose. It wasn't really good when gold was, you know, on a rally for any risk on assets like, again, crypto. So should this start breaking out, that may mean that we may need to take some profits earlier than we expect. If it goes on a full-on rampage, then, guys, pretty much that means it's possible that our bags are going to completely go to zero, right? And I hate to be a doomer, but I do these weekly updates, not because, again, I'm bored. I do this because I'm significantly exposed to the crypto market. I want to make sure that I'm watching out for all things that are correlated to Bitcoin. And there's so much more things correlated to Bitcoin, the equities markets. But the equities markets are so tied to Bitcoin. And then we're also seeing gold pretty much almost getting ready to break out. Because, again, you know, like, you can never have too many correlations. And the more things that point to the same thing, that probably means it's going to happen. And, again, you know, if gold continues rallying, that probably means that we're not going to get the bull market we expect, the same way that Bitcoin has pretty much get close to its previous all-time highs before the halving took place. So everything is changing. Things are never going to be the same, and you just have to be prepared for all types of situations and scenarios. So that's that for all of these tokens. I just want to go over some of these altcoins that are very interesting. And, you know, if you guys look at KDA right now, I definitely think this is probably going to run to 350. Has a very good chance of running. Very, very clean setup here. And, you know, I just believe this is probably going to run soon. Rari also making its way up. Was shared last week as well. Definitely think it gets up to $9. Woo is making its way up here as well. I definitely think this is going to keep on running. Probably to around $1. Doge had a crazy run. Shared this on Twitter. Did a 2x off of the 61.8 level, guys. Do not fade the 61.8 level. It is the most powerful level in crypto. And a lot of people sleep on it. Look at that perfect retracement at 7 cents and now 14 cents. That you couldn't play that better. Demo is getting ready to run. Spoke about this on Twitter as well. We're at an apex decision time, and I believe that we're probably going to run up to $1, maybe $1.40. We'll see what happens. And, you know, there's other tokens like Root that don't really have too much historical data, but I do believe this will continue running up because of the structure. And again, we'll see how this happens. Lots of consolidation for the most part. Nothing too crazy as of right now. And the last one I want to talk to you guys about is FET. This is just absolutely bonkers, guys. This is just running up completely vertical. And it's exciting, right? I mean, guys, weekly RSI is making a new high. The price is in discovery. You don't sell coins like this, okay, guys? You do not want to sell coins like this. And even when you look at the FET BTC chart, because this is what I like to do, you know, we're almost at a resistance point over here. But that's probably just going to become a wick at this level. So maybe at, you know, let's see how much percentage points. And 30% gain from the current level will probably reach that resistance. So in about 250, we're probably going to see some sort of rejection. And then it'll probably continue higher after some sort of retracement like we've seen time and time again. But again, it's just like you want to use these BTC charts to find exits and entries the same way how I'm using it for XRP. Because if we do get into all-time highs for XRP, my profit take is actually going to be, you know, most likely the top of this level, right? So that gives us a 23x from the low right now. And again, if you were at 23x off of 63 cents, I'm not saying it's going to hit this target, but 23x takes us all the way to $15, right? And that sounds crazy. I'm not saying it's going to get that high, even though it can. It's just really cool that you can use these BTC charts to, again, use in terms of finding targets. So there's a lot of things that are continuing to go up here, guys. For the most part, most altcoins that look good, even like Constellation, I really do like this setup as well. Pretty much breaking above support, retracing sideways here. This is probably going to run up as well, all the way up to potentially 16 cents. So we'll see what happens. But, you know, it's going to take some time for this to play out. But, you know, there's just so many setup, guys. So definitely make sure you guys have proper risk management. Don't do anything stupid and have stop losses, because, again, we are running into a resistance here on total 2, or actually at resistance on total 2. We're running up to it in total 3. So I believe that the market is going to be cooked soon. So you just got to watch out for this level. Thank you guys for making it to the end. Like and sub if you haven't already. And as always, hodl, hodl, hodl. Peace.